Good evening and welcome to MCFC 9320 PUBcast. City are back playing in a proper football, guys. And that's no disrespect to Championship and that. I mean, forget the Charity Shield, what happened last week. The Premier League is back. We're back with an absolute massive win. Good evening, Paddy. Good evening, Stan. And good evening, Martin. Also, good evening to everybody who's in the chat. Thank you, Sally, for becoming a new member. Absolutely appreciate that. Yeah. What did you reckon? I'll start off with you, Paddy. What did you reckon of Friday night, mate?
Well, just before we get into that, we need to acknowledge that why Anne-Marie is not here tonight. She's gone to the Saudi League. She's followed Mahrez. So,
oh, yes.
Premier League is back, but I'm afraid Anne-Marie is gone from the podcast. She's gotten
yes. And out of pure respect for Anne-Marie as well, I've actually left Mahrez in the intro. I was going to take it out, but she threatened if we took it out of the intro, she would no longer be part of the show ever again. So, and yet she's gone over to Saudi Arabia on holiday on Mahrez watch. So good luck, Anne-Marie. Yeah, good luck. Yeah, I'm sure she'll be back.
So just acknowledge that. But going back there, the Friday night, it was all right for first match of the season. The only kind of criticism or critique I would have is Lewis doesn't belong at left back. I thought that they might play Laporte and put Aki out there. I don't think he fits that position.
But in an ideal world, well, not even an ideal world, he's not going to really start there, is he? Because if you think about it, we had Stonesy out, we had Diaz out, Gvardiol was on the bench, so they're naturally going to go into that position, aren't they?
Yeah, but Gvardiol is match fit. He has been playing for Leipzig, so it's not that he needs any minutes in his legs. He has them already. So if he's 70 million pound, whatever he costs, he's good enough to play from the start. Either play Laporte there or play him there and put Aki out and leave Lewis sitting on the bench for me. But it was the first match of the season, so it's hard to be critical, you know what I mean? But the only thing that really stood out for me was that I thought we were very weak. He's very good coming forward, and he's very good inverting, and he's very good technically. But his job's defence, and he can't defend.
Right. So, Stan, admittedly, Pep knows more than us. I was surprised to see De Bruyne start, considering he's had, 15 minutes in the Community Shield. Although I was surprised to see him start, I thought he looked very, very good before his injury.
Yeah. We weren't the only ones to be surprised. I think Kev said after the game, when he was interviewed, that he was surprised that he was starting. Something like that. I mean, you got to remember we're in August now, so Pep's going to be in full tinker mode. So, he's got Lewis on the left. He'll be having a little look at what he can do. Like you say, Gvardiol, he's got the minutes in his legs.
Gavi's
got his minutes in his legs. He doesn't really need to know what he can do. We know what he can do. And he'll be having a little look, but I thought it was a bit of a risk. I don't know why he did that. It was an odd one. Probably the only negative. But then again, it's a muscle thing, isn't it? These can be all right, or they might not be all right. It backfired this time. But I thought there was a lot more positives than negatives. I just thought we looked like a well-oiled machine again. That was just, the fan belt was slipping a little bit, but it's not going to take too much to get it going again. And we just stepped back into where we were at the back end of last season.
Totally agree, mate. Martin, Pardo Oaks is thanks for joining as well, pal. Pardo Oaks is asking any word on KDB's injury. To be honest, I've not really looked. I've been trying to dodge social media a little bit this weekend. Has anybody heard any updates on KDB?
Yes,
last time you heard them, he had a scan on Monday.
perhaps this is the same injury that he had before at the Champions. Yeah,
it could be. I think it could be a couple of months. He was saying, but I think that's worst case scenario.
So, Martin, that means Paqueta looks like it'll be a two-way thing, really. Yep, we'll go and get him, and I reckon there'll be a few million on top of that from West Ham because they know we'll be in the need of a midfielder.
Yeah, I'm feeling a bit left out. We're not spending under $1 million. Everyone else is spending under $1 million. I'm feeling a bit left out at the moment.
Cheeky's rubbish.
Cheeky's rubbish. All our English players are rubbish. You know, the usual palaver that you wear. No, Friday night it was decent. 3-0. Can't moan. There was a few. I wouldn't say negatives because they're not negatives.
No,
they're not negatives. There was a few. This is my issue. If you criticise anyone, you don't like them, you're having a go at them, which is a lot of absolute BS. You know, we're now in a world where you can't say anything bad against a player anymore. You're just banned from doing it all of a sudden now. Absolutely amazing. No, I'm happy with it. The defence, I look at it this way, that team will not be the team in 3 weeks. So I don't see why people dig deep into it. I said it on Friday night, the Walker thing, maybe it's me, I'm not seeing it at the moment. At the moment, I think we're in between a bit of the start of last season and a bit of the end of last season as well. So we're doing a mixture of both.
I thought Walker was very good, mate, because what I always try to do, if I go to the match, I always, and it's being televised, I always watch it, from a TV perspective, if you like, as well as a live perspective. Now, I thought Walker was very good on Friday night when I was drunk in the pub watching it. So yesterday, I watched it. Was it yesterday I watched it? Yeah, yesterday I watched it. So like in the cold light of day, if you like. And my judgment on Friday night was spot on. I thought Walker played very, very well. Well, that's just my opinion, of course. I don't what you guys think.
No, listen, I'm not saying he's a bad player. I just think if you look at Burnley's attacking, it all came down one side. Burnley got all their joy down one side.
That's not his fault, though, is it?
No, but the trouble is, because he goes flying forward so much, we got a little bit left exposed. This is what I mean. What is the job now? It baffled me a bit because we've got an overlapping fullback on the right. We have no overlapping fullback on the left, so it looked very unbalanced. And I didn't understand it at the Community Shield because I think if you've got an overlapping fullback, it negates what your right hand. I don't want to call them wingers because they're not even wingers. This right and your right forward is doing. Because Bernardo was out the game on Sunday because Walker, not because of Walker, but Walker's overlapping. And then that was the same case on Friday night, which is fine. No problem with that. But that's what I mean. We seem to be in between this 3-2-2-3 plus an overlapping fullback. And I'm not sure if it works.
I think, Paddy, that the early injury to De Bruyne dictated that a little bit, though, because we had to sort of like change the way we was playing, didn't we? To compensate. Yeah, it's fine that not fine that De Bruyne went off injured, but it just shows we've got that strength in depth. I even think, mate, that our bench looks strong, even without new signings and also without Stones and Diaz on the bench.
I don't know if I'd agree with that. I thought the bench was a bit light on Friday night. There was 3 kids on there. There was McAtee and Palmer was on there.
That's what people want, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, he brought McAtee on instead of bringing Phillips on, but which I was surprised at.
Right, let's get the elephant. Let's get the elephant out of the room. Then.
There we go.
That's shocking. Pep got pelters for saying he was a couple of grams overweight. You're going there, he's a full elephant now. Where did he go on his summer holidays?
Well, no, in fairness, no. Phillips was back 2 or 3 weeks before anyone else training.
I'm only joking with the elephant in the room and what Pep said.
Right. I've nailed my side to the mast, whatever way you want to put it. Right, my colours to the mast.
Colours to the mast.
I'm going to be backing Calvin Phillips this season. Now, if come the end of this transfer window is not there, fair enough. I think maybe it was quite damning that he didn't come on when Bruyne went off. Maybe it is a little bit damning, but listen, I'm going to back the lad because we've had the first 1,000 minutes of the season gone because it felt like it as well. You know, the amount of added time and stuff like that, which we'll come to in a bit. I'm backing him.
Right. Okay. I because of the sad who I am, I did a bit of research into this, why Pep is not playing him or possible reasons why he's not being played. Calvin Phillips' strengths at Leeds was breaking play up and playing long balls. Watch him playing for Leeds. That's all he does. He breaks it up and he passes it away. Look at the difference between Matteo and Rodri. They're always in a position to receive the ball. Calvin Phillips doesn't do that. Calvin Phillips runs on average when he's playing between 14 and 16 kilometers in a game. He's not doing that for us, obviously, because he's not playing. But even when he is playing and he passes the ball, he's static. He doesn't move. He doesn't move into position to re-receive the ball like Matteo does or Rodri does. And I think that's why Pep is not playing him. But if you want a midfield enforcer, which he is, if you want somebody to break up play and spread the ball, yes, he can play it in. But Rodri and Matteo take that at a different level. They're breaking up play, passing the ball, and then getting in the position to re-receive that ball again. Phillips is not doing that, and that's down to Pep. So, like, if Phillips goes this transfer window, right, Pep got it wrong because Pep seen him playing at Leeds and knew what he was getting. And the last time, to my knowledge, that Pep made a mistake was with Bravo, the goalkeeper. So why did Pep sign him?
That's a good shout, that, mate. To be fair, it's for what all the rights and wrongs. I'm also a firm believer that certain players fit in well at clubs. Some don't quite make it. Now, are we seeing that with Phillips? Because, all right, Kovacic, by the way, that just shows you the BS, what goes round on social media. Apparently, he did an ACL, Kovacic, didn't he, in the week? What a recovery that was by him, by the way. Well done to our medical staff, getting him recovered for an ACL in 24 hours.
So sorry about that rumour. Apparently, it was me who started that rumour off.
Yeah, it was you. Our good friend Alan told us it was you.
Yeah, apparently it was me. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you are in the canteen, aren't you, mate?
Yeah. Do you know what it is with Phillips? Quite simple. I don't. It sounds awful. This doesn't matter what fans, whether fans want to back him or whether they don't want to back him. The one person who needs to back him isn't backing him.
That's it. That's Pep.
And that's the clear issue here. Because at the time, at Leeds, he probably was, at the time, for 45 million. Even I was buzzing. I thought we've got a real, played murder ball at Bielsa, at Leeds under Bielsa.
Yeah.
Can spray a ball really well. He can ping a 15, 20, 30-yard ball without any problem. What it is at the minute is, I even saw it, I went back and watched some of the pre-seasons. He's so nervous. He's so nervous.
Martin, before you actually said them words, then I was going to say rabbit in the headlights. Also, I never thought I'd ever say this. Do you think wow, I can't even believe I'm going to say this. Do you think City's too big for him?
Yeah, I think it's too big a jump.
Can I just come in there?
Of course you can.
Martin saying is right. He can ping a ball left, right, centre, 50, 60 yards, right?
Don't tell him he's right, for God's sake.
But if you look at half time, what Sky tried to make a big deal out of Pep having a go at Haaland. Haaland had a go at Bernardo Silva because he didn't play the ball over.
Yep.
Pep doesn't like that. Pep likes close, controlled football, no risk. I know we did it a lot more in the second half, but he bollocked Haaland at half-time for roaring at Silva. Why didn't you pass that ball over? That's Phillips' game, and that's why Phillips is not playing.
I'll tell you what.
Let's put it this way. Sorry, go on,
Stan.
Yeah, I've got a bit of an alternative view on that. That when he first came in, you know, I've been banging on for ages, haven't you? That he likes particular players. Everybody's a part in his machine, and there's not a lot of difference between most of them players. But he wants a certain part to do a certain job. Now, go back to August of last year. When we got Haaland and Phillips, maybe that was one of the things that he was planning, to get him integrated so that he could do those long balls that Haaland feeds off. Unfortunately, he got injured, didn't he, Phillips? And that's knocked him down the pecking order. And Guardiola's come up with 1 or 2 alternative ideas, and they've been working okay. So he's not really had that chance to bring him back in to do those little balls over the top. Because when the balls do go over the top to Ireland, they are quite successful. And you're right, that is Phillips' game. He's a 50, 60-yard sprayer of the ball. Kovacic can do it as well. But then again, Kovacic might be able to defend a bit better than Phillips. This is all going to come out. And I just think he was really massively unlucky to get that injury when he did. Because if it hadn't have come, we could well be on a different path, and he is doing okay. It's one of those what ifs, but that is what football is, isn't it? It is a what if. It happens all the time. There's always a key moment in the game, or if we'd have done this, or if we'd have scored, or if he hadn't made that save. And it's on tiny little things like that that careers can change. And I just think that is a little bit. So when we ask ourselves, why did he buy him? Probably for that reason, so that we had another bow or another string to our bow, so that we weren't just doing the tappy all the time. We could go over the top if we wanted.
The other thing I noticed is, go back to the Yokohama game, the first one in pre-season. Yes, Phillips did okay, but if you go back to which goal was it? The Yokohama goal. If you look, Phillips gets the ball, passes it off, loses it. Then what he does is then he then chases to close the Yokohama player down, and then leaves the space in behind, which Rodri wouldn't normally do.
Mm-hmm.
The ball then gets played over the top, and Yokohama score. From then on in, if you look at his minutes, even in pre-season, he went down. Community Shield got nothing. Burnley got nothing. And sometimes it can be just little moments where Pep just goes, I can't do it. I just cannot do it anymore. And that's the sad thing here.
Martin, Sally's asking here, what do you think about Paqueta? What's Paqueta? If it's a done deal, like we're hearing and stuff like that, what's he gonna bring to us?
I was very unsure when it first came out, because I thought, But I went back and watched West Ham when West Ham played at the Etihad.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of the idiots who does still subscribe to City Plus for the $4.99 a month. So I went back and watched the game. Paqueta was their star boy. If you watch that game, and I just watched Paqueta, he was literally the string puller for West Ham in that game. Anything West Ham was doing, he was pulling all the strings, the little through balls. And the one thing I think he's going to be very good at is there's going to be games where we get this flat back six and they all go man marking, so there's no space. He's very good at being able to. Do you remember David Silva, where he could turn on a sixpence? Now, I'm not saying he's David Silva before.
David Silva, I've never heard of him. Who is it? Yeah.
You know that David Silva where he used to do that 180-degree turn? He was like, he just get the ball, do this 180 turn and away from the player who was up his rear end. Paqueta can do that in very tight spaces. So whether that is the game plan, I don't know, because like we were talking last week, and other than KDB, we're kind of short on attacking mids.
Right.
That is an area that pitch we're a bit short of.
Do you know why Stan, I'm going to come to you here now with what I'm going to say, mate. Do you want to know why I'm reluctant to talk about Paqueta? I don't know enough about him, mate.
The West Ham man. We don't talk about a player who does not play for Manchester City.
No,
plays for West Ham.
The reason why I'm reluctant to talk about it, mate, I don't know a lot about him because I feel, especially in the world of social media, people will jump on bandwagon saying, oh, he's brilliant, or no, he's terrible. I've seen him on YouTube. I won't look at YouTube for a player because, with due respect, if somebody looked at my YouTube moments, Real Madrid would be putting a £200 million bid in and 5 Freddos.
For carrying the water onto the pitch, is it?
Yeah, that did.
Yeah. I'm not sure the 5 Freddos would swing it. But anyhow,
5 Freddos and 2 cans of Tizer.
I tell you who he's coming in. For, without a shadow of a doubt. Like I say, once you've left City, I'm not interested. But that Turkish fella that we had that wasn't bad, that's what he'll be doing. Yeah, Gundogan.
He was German. He still is.
Stan's being literal there. Regarding Turkish.
And by the way, I tell you what, it's great to have Stan back tonight, with him not juddering and everything. So I think it's appropriate we play a tribute to Stan here.
My God, that's
there we go.
I've ever seen one. The state of him. This place is going right down murky.
You can't talk to me like that. My father fell at Normandy.
I don't care if you went arse over tit in Scunthorpe, you're a dickhead.
I do remember at an awards night somebody going arse over tit.
Yeah.
No, it's me that's got the technology problem.
No, Martin, right? This is a true story, right? I swear to God. Right. In our older
MCFC forum.
We had an MCFC forum, right? And we was pretty good. Because we actually won an award for Judge's Choice for forums. Didn't we, mate? We did.
We did.
And we're going up to get the big bottle of champagne and the trophy, the award and stuff like that. Getting up.
Made a glass.
Made a glass. Who trips up on the stage getting up? Stan.
No, it wasn't. It was Mark Devlin.
No, it was you, mate. I tell you what, it was you because the
best of it was, though, I smashed that award. They were made a glass and I smashed an award, right? And it was the Everton one. And the Everton lads that won it took our award and wouldn't give it us back.
Actually, it's a true. I forgot about that. It's a true story. The judge handed us. Everton was going to be next. An Everton fan group was going to be next to win a different award, and they passed us the Everton one. He passed it and smashed the Everton one. So the Everton guys, for the sake of holding it up for the media and stuff like that, had ours, and they refused to give us ours back because he smashed it. What was we saying now?
Oh dear.
Yeah, I tell you what though, it was a good night, wasn't it? It was a good night, that funny.
It was. So yeah, so that's what Paqueta's going to bring to us, Martin. So I tell you, going back to the match last night, and I'll with Paddy here now, I was very impressed with us. Rodri just looked like Rodri, he's a man. He had more chances last night. It looks like that's it. The directive from Pep, basically shoot on sight because he has got a great shot. I think collectively, considering it's the first game of the season, and normally I don't even look at the table until 6 games into the season, I thought we looked very, very good, mate.
Yeah, we did. The only thing about Rodri is
I'm gone.
Has he fell on the stage?
Where's he gone?
I think he's fell on the stage again.
He doesn't want to talk about Rodri.
Forgot all about it.
Rodri has come out and he's on the record saying he doesn't want to play the games he played last season. So we're going to have to sign people that can compensate when he's not there, because it's unfair of us to expect Rodri to play every game. He says he was burnt out, basically, from the he was near on. I think he was pushing on for 50-odd games, was he? So he's not possible here this season. So we need to sign your man from West Ham or.
And Pardo Walsh, what and the link is more or less precise there. What do we do if, God forbid, Rodri gets an injury? I think Kovacic is actually that main man who can link quite nicely between the 6 and the 8.
Spot on.
Rodri gets injured, we're all back in Chelsea. We'll head for Stamford Bridge.
I've got no issue. I think Kovacic is more than capable of doing that job. More than capable.
Totally
we even got, you can invert John Stones. There's loads of options we can do if, we're not short of options. I think people, just go back to the Phillips thing, and people laugh at me when I say this, but we've got to remember as well, you've got to have 8 homegrown players within your squad. And if we're getting rid of Palmer and we're getting rid of this, we've got to keep Phillips. Because whether people like that or not, that is a Premier League rule. You got to have 8 homegrown players. So we can't just ditch every single, I've heard people say, Grealish out, Phillips out. Well, no, because we can't ditch these players out. It's not FIFA. We can't ditch these players out and get rid of them. We'll just talk of Palmer going to West Ham and the other way for Paqueta. That'll be another homegrown gone.
I hope
can't just get rid.
If that happens, Martin, I only want that to be a loan because I've not given up on Cole Palmer. I still think he's got a lot. I think he's still got a lot to offer us. I'd like to see. What I would like to see is the same scenario as McAtee. Pep says to him, "Listen, I'm sending you out on loan for the season. However, I've got faith in you. There's a brand new contract for you because I've still got faith in you. Go out and get a full season under your belt like McAtee, and then come back next season and let's see where we're at."
Then what do you do with Doku?
Send him back to Star Wars.
No, I've been laughing at them jokes all day, by the way. I've kind of quite funny. Count Doku and everything. No, but honestly, if you're Cole Palmer and you're sat there and you're going, right, I'm on the right wing, here's my opportunity. Oh, City are about to go and splash 50, 60 million on a right winger.
Winger? Is that winger or
no? This guy is an out and out winger. Doku. He is just a pure out and out winger. That ain't good for Palmer. That ain't good for Cole Palmer if you sat there looking at it, or Oscar Bob.
Who's to say Doku will be any better than what we've got with Cole Palmer?
Why are they buying him?
No, I'm just listen. Even Pep makes mistakes with certain players. We can go back to Bravo, etc. But I just does, and I always say, and I'll keep saying it till I'm blue in the face. It just, if you're getting rid of somebody, it doesn't always mean to say you're getting somebody better in. Sometimes it's better to work and develop with what you've got.
Mm. Yeah, but tell you what, though, if you want to see a shambles of a transfer summer, you only have to go to the bottom of the East Lancs Road. They said that they hadn't got the money to buy Bellingham. Then they want to spend more money and agree a fee on a player who's worse for more. That player then turns around and says, I don't want to go. I'm not going. I'll go Chelsea, but I'm not going to you. How the hell did they not know that? All this stuff that goes on in the background that we don't know about with City, it's seamless.
Mm-hmm.
Now and again, somebody will, I don't know, let's call him Fabrizio Romano, just for just to pick a name out of the air, comes up and sticks his size 12s in it and doesn't quite disrupt it, but certainly people aren't happy because the transfer, they try to keep it quiet because they've got other players to come and they don't want people knowing how much money they've got coming in and all this, that, and that.
They've still got Coutinho's money yet not spent.
Well, I believe we've still got a few million left of the Jeff Whitley money, so we can't really complain. But yeah, it's all poker face and all that. And this fella's like, I don't know who it is at Liverpool. I've never seen a shambles like it in my life. And now they're going off.
It's quite funny though, Stan.
Oh, it's brilliant. I'm loving it.
When they're all sat there at 3 a.m. celebrating that they're spending 110 million quid, and then 6 hours later they're all crying again. It was quite funny to watch.
Carragher's tweets were legendary, weren't they? What 1 minute he's tweeting about. Are we allowed to call them tweets now, or he was Xing?
Reposts.
Do you know what? We still call them marathons, no matter what Snickers want to call it. So Twitter's not going to change.
Showing your age now.
No, but nobody's going to be calling them X's, are they? It's Twitter, and that's the end of it. I don't care.
With what Alex said, Foden good. I was really glad for Phil last night. Not just that little touch from Kovacic, what he did there. But I think his overall game last night, he's up for it. And there's been people doubting Phil, Paddy, where they're saying, I've even seen City fans saying, should we make Part X for Paqueta and Foden? I'm like, drugs is not good for your kids. It's not good for you.
Actually, before you leave the Palmer thing, if you listen to Pep's presser before the game, it sounded like Palmer giving him an ultimatum that he wants more game time or else. Pep says, Palmer approached him and says, I want to be more active this season.
That's down to him, isn't it?
Pep doesn't do that.
James Trafford tried that one.
Yeah.
The next minute he's picking the ball out the net 3 times. Yeah. You don't play that game with Pep.
Cancelo tried that one and Pep was picking the ball out.
It sounded like Palmer was giving them an ultimatum that he wants more game time. That's why I think he probably will go as a make weight.
I tell you what, though, when you talk about picking your battles carefully, I think one person who did that and has done it really well is Walker. Because I've got a feeling he never really wanted to go to Munich, got them interested, got them to say, right, we'll pay you a bit more. And then he's gone back to Cheeky and said, well, I'm going to get another 50 grand a week over there.
Who are you, that Annie, whatever she's called? Do you think like that works, do you? Annie Akuka, whatever
that's not what Annie Akula said.
I've seen so many conspiracy theories this summer. It's unreal. Harry Kane was playing this game to get United and all sorts.
No. Speaking to another club to make sure you can get a better deal for yourself, that's been going on time immemorial. That's what I'm getting at. That's not an any Akula example.
The best, and I have no problem with any player doing that because we've had the game for a very long time. And if us 4 here thought that we could approach our employer and turn around and say, look, Mickey wants us down the road there and he's going to give us an extra 15 grand.
Yeah.
And we thought they would match it. We'd do it as well. Same with Silva. If Silva signs that new contract, people say, he signed it for money. The best of luck to him.
Yeah, of course it is. That's what it's always been.
Can I ask a question? And a bit baffled. And people are going to say, well, you need a big squad. It's a big season, blah, 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 blah. Last season, Foden was injured for the majority of the season, which we know about. So you get him in and you go, right, where are you going to... And Foden's come out and said he wants to play in central midfield, which is great in that 10 role. But then you go and spend, which was probably going to be the best part of 90 million quid on Paqueta. Mm-hmm. So then you go, right, so you got KDB, Paqueta, Foden, who can all play that. Alvarez is playing the number 10 role. So you go, right, well, we could put Foden out wide. So then you go and get a straight-out winger. I have no problem with I think the Paqueta deal is spot on because I think that's the area of the pitch we need. The Doku one, because I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know loads about him and I've watched him and he's this world-class player. I don't watch 90 minutes and then suddenly I think I know everything all about the player. But the Doku one is not making sense to me. And he may come and be brilliant, but then if he's on one of the wings, what you doing with Alvarez, Grealish, Foden? What you doing with Paqueta?
I'm a believer, mate, is if once you've got that shirt, you do everything in your power to keep it. So what do you reckon, Stan? I'm a believer. What I've just said, if you're in the team, somebody's got to play either come on as in, to replace you as a sub or something and be a worlder and keep that shirt.
Yeah, the thing is though that he don't work that way, does he, Pep? At the end of the day, he's going to have he has a small squad so that people get minutes because he knows players want to play minutes, and certain minutes are more important than others. Burnley away on the first game of the season, that's great. It's a filler because you want to be playing in the semi-finals and the finals, and you want to be playing in April, May, where the business is.
Didn't work with Mahrez that one, Andy. By the way,
that was what.
No, I say didn't work with Mahrez. He bagged that trick in the semi-final and then got dropped again. No,
but they want to play in them games. I'm not saying that this is the thing with Pep, innit? What you want and what you get aren't always the same thing. But
I was more counteracting Andy's point about if you're in the shirt and you've earned it, you stay. I don't think I'm with you, Stan. I don't think Pep works that way all the time.
No, he's got tools, and he looks at his toolbox to see what's going to dismantle the next team, and that's it. That's all he does. He just goes through the permutations and does it. Now, again, as far as I know, that Doku thing might not make any sense because we're not actually after him. We're just putting pressure on Elise or somebody else to sign and say, well, if you don't sign, we'll go and get Doku. Up to you, lad. Do you want to come to the treble champions or not?
Apparently he's going Chelsea.
That's on his social media talk, Stan, about this doctor. He came with Kevin De Bruyne's recommendation. How do we know that? That's all like BS to me.
No, mate,
they have definitely agreed terms with him.
I think that is.
Not being smart. How do you know that?
I'm not allowed to say who it came from. I'm not allowed, and Andy knows that. I'm not allowed to say the person who said it. But I know it is that is something that is real. We aren't.
Listen,
it doesn't make sense.
Do you want
in my English, would it be called Peter Gaviscon?
Right. My stance has always been, and I think, hang on, and I'm just gonna bounce to Nick's comment here. You don't know what Pep asked Phillips to do. He won't get him to do the same as Rodri. Now, with the first bit of what Nick said there, I'm 1,000,000% agree with Nick there. We can only assume what Pep says, to players, what players say to Pep, who Pep's really after, who Pep's not really after, and all that. But it'd be a boring world if we didn't discuss it and stuff like that. Like we do on the shows and stuff like that. Not just City shows. Every football club shows up and down the country. But ultimately, Nick is spot on there. We don't actually know unless I was there and heard Pep say. I nearly went into a Welsh accent then instead of Spanish, but unless we hear Pep say, I am after Doku or Paqueta, you've just got to take it as it's rumoured because, and as I keep saying, Fabrizio and all them, they don't always get it right. I keep saying it on every show.
Paqueta is not a rumour because David Moyes says on Sky Sports News that they rejected Man City's offer out of hand.
No, I meant in general, mate. I meant in general. I just mentioned Paqueta like I mentioned Doku and whatever. There's only Pep and that small amount of people. Because as Martin will vouch for this, there's a rumour going round that Sam Lee sits in the City canteen where the players are, and that's where he gets his stories from.
Yeah, exactly. and me and Andy heard that from the same person.
And you know something? That is just idiocy because A journalist won't be allowed in there, and B, he'd get his face smashed in, Sam, because he writes some stuff what some of the City players and that don't like, i.e. the Mahrez stuff and like that. But
I don't know, you got to hold your horses there a little bit. I do know that City do eat at the Asda restaurant over the road, so he might be sitting in there.
Did you find that out? Did you find out by tripping over the step with your dinner?
I did. I had a hot shake. It was full of sausage.
You look at. Listen, I understand it.
Went everywhere.
You look at different things like Doku today. At the end of the game, he went to all four corners of the ground on his own, clapping. Basically, looked like he was saying goodbye.
That's all we need, isn't it? Somebody who doesn't know the way off the pitch.
Yeah, doesn't know his way up the pitch and goes to every other side.
I know I can get out here somewhere.
However, that's what we can just assume, because we saw this. We said the same about Bernardo Silva. He said his goodbyes and stuff like that.
Yeah, but City, Amanda. You know what City are like. If there's a rumour that comes out as strong as Doku, and if there was nothing in it, City would come out and deny, as they always have done. But when it's like Rice, when all that came out, they never denied it. Paqueta never did. Pep stayed completely quiet and wouldn't even speak on him. It was David Moyes who talked about him in his press conference, not Pep. And it's the exact same with Doku. Nobody's come out from City and gone, there is no interest in Doku, which tells me it's clear there is an interest there. I'm just baffled on the signing because of everyone moans about Phil Foden. Well, where are you putting Foden now? Because for me, Foden's one of the first names on the team sheet.
Yeah. Do you want to know why I think City fans want Doku? It's cheaper to get his name put on the back of a shirt.
Do you still charge for a letter? Is it still like per letter now? We're going to have one hell of a bench.
I tell you what, it was about half an hour ago, but I just want to bring up what Alex said about Haaland. What a start. That fella's just, you're 3 minutes into the start of the season and you're worrying if he's going to carry on his goal drought. And bang, straight in the back of the net. 1-0. Another one 20 minutes later, game over. Feet up, sun sails out, game's done. Fantastic.
Right, let's talk about Haaland, because surely we can't expect him to score 50-odd goals again this season. I'd be quite happy, and just a general here, if he scored 25 goals, but them 25 goals were all important goals. What did something for us? Are we putting too much weight on of expectation on him, or do you think? Go on, Stan. You're shaking your head like Churchill. Go on.
No, there's the expectation on him is massive, because he's a massive player. He will do it. He was scoring goals in the Champions League for fun when he was in Austria. He's done it in Germany. He's done it here. You look at him and what he does and the way he moves, you're all saying, the defences will know what he's doing this year. It's like you've not actually thought about it, the fact that he now knows what the defender's going to do. And he'll run. He'll do a little short sprint, turn, go the other way. He'll find that little half yard of space. And as he says, he never, ever gets bothered about missing a chance. You just get your head down and get the next one. And they'll go in. And they will, because he doesn't panic. He doesn't rush. Honestly, he'll get another 50 goals this year. No problem whatsoever.
Strikers play off instinct. And if you listen to Haaland's interview after the match, and your man says to him, how did you know to be there for the second goal? I don't know what he says.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He's arriving in them positions by instinct.
I tell you what, you've only been here 2 minutes and I'm getting abuse. Fair enough.
I love it. Well,
fair enough, that, Sally. That's what we're there for.
Oh, brilliant.
Even Pep will tell you that about Haaland. He can't teach him. He can teach him. He can get him so far, but he can't teach him the finishing. Like, look at the second goal. He didn't even look at where the net was. He knew where it was.
Yeah.
His second goal was just a phenomenal one. It was just total instinct. I'm not saying he won't score 50 odd goals again, but now the level of expectation from City fans is we've got what I'm seeing, and I'll be honest, I'm getting a little bit fed up with the likes of Twitter, and I still call it Twitter, because I'm just seeing things all the time like we've got to at least do the treble this season. We've got.
You know why you're seeing the wrong things, Andy?
Because I'm following the wrong people.
Exactly.
I tell you what, I saw the belter about Harry Kane, and he said, listen, he can always go to Munich and come back and try and beat Shearer's record. Mm-hmm. And somebody else has said he's not going to beat Shearer's record. Haaland will have it by the time he comes back. That's how confident I am with that lad. He'll have that total done in about 5 years. He'll butcher it. Absolutely butcher it.
Pardo Oaks is asking me, that's okay, Andy, what do we do with Phillips? Pardo Oaks, I honestly don't know. I don't want to give up on Phillips. I don't know what it's called me sentimental, which we shouldn't be in football, really. But I just want the lad to do well. I don't know. I honestly, I can't answer your question, mate. That's my honest answer. I just want him to do well. Do I think he'll do well? I just thought it was on Friday night. I just thought it was a bit him not coming on. If I'm being totally honest, but yeah,
well, Pep is going to have to swallow a lot of humble pie and say, "Look, I got this wrong."
He did it with Bravo, though. Quite, he's humble pie, didn't he? Really?
Whoa! Leave Bravo alone. Leave bloody Bravo alone. Won us how many League Cups? Leave the lad alone.
Yeah. Beyond Belief says Doku brings explosive acceleration, good with both feet, dribbling, take-ons, crossing ability, a great attitude and willingness to develop mental resilience to injuries at a young age. Something that's great. And
yeah.
Somebody I'm privy to what.
Is it me or am I the only one who can't hear Andy?
We can't hear him. Yeah. No, we can't hear you, mate.
Thank God.
Anyway.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you're now hearing Andy in the best way possible.
Yeah.
No, and it's good Beyond Belief came on there and explained us a little bit about him, because I don't think any of us really know too much. I mean, I know Andy's good at
I have no problem with Doku. I have no problem with Doku, but then I don't want to hear fans moaning about Foden, etc., when he's not on the pitch.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Right, so...
Oh, and he's gone again. He's gone again.
He's not.
He's got the best microphone ever.
What's up?
Gone again.
Bloody hell, we got what's he called? Freddie Paddock Face Davis is on.
He bought them microphones from China.
Yeah.
He's gone.
He's not the cheeky of the microphone world, is he? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
No,
you're gonna get. Just do sign language. I've got a question for you all. What are you doing with McAtee?
He's gone.
Right,
He's not in the first team, not a hope.
I don't know.
He definitely won't be kept. He's going out on loan.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I don't want to say yeah because you'll go again in a minute.
No, I've just sussed out why it was. Somebody's hacked me. What I was saying about Doku, it's all well and good. I thought it was brilliant analysis. From Beyond Belief there. However, it seems if we are serious on him and he does come in, we're going back to playing with a speedy winger. What we've just got away from. So I'm thinking now with Pep, he's double bluffing everybody again, isn't he?
When you
do you know what?
Description, I thought to myself, that's everything Pep doesn't want.
Hang on. I've just thought, you never know with him. You can't trust him as far as you can throw it. Now you tell me somebody who's had attacking the wingers and converted them to fullbacks, and you tell me a fullback who is quick, who's running down his career now. It won't surprise me one little bit if he was getting him in to start doing the Walker role.
And again, we want Nick's...
Can he defend?
Well, then why would Walker sign a new 3-year deal if he's going to be?
Well, this Doku's about
just chuck back out again.
Right, and listen, what we want. It sounds like I'm just putting Nick's comments up here, and it's something I've said that, Nick, because I asked Martin the question because I know Martin's done a bit of he watches a bit of Paqueta and stuff like that. I was reluctant to comment on him, a lot, because I've not seen a lot of him. So I would not go to YouTube watching it, because that's the worst thing you can do. And it's the same stance is Doku. That's why I asked, what kind of player is Doku? So I'd rather take people's opinions like yourselves and beyond belief and whoever watches him than, going on a YouTube channel and seeing his best bits. So I do think it's quite.
And I must admit, a lot of the time, I'll just throw stuff out there just to get it thinking and look outside the box.
I don't know.
No, I've got no problem. Whoever Pep wants to sign, I'll back. But it's just a shame, because it will probably spell the end for a McAtee and a Palmer. That is probably game over for them. And that's sad. And that's sad for me.
No, but you were right, Martin, when you said not everybody who's going to come through the academy will make it. And the level is that high at the moment. We've got academy lads who go to smaller clubs, like Bayern, Inter, Real, Barca.
And plus, you had a Doku already. You had Borges.
He was a bit different, though, isn't he? I'm not sure he was a speedy winger, was he? I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah. He was one hell of a speedy winger. That's why I thought we weren't doing that, because Borges had been sent out. Could have saved 50, 60 million, thrown Borges in, but that's why Pep's the manager and I'm not.
You see, that's the thing, that we don't know. He might be a bit of an arse, that Borges. We don't know. We don't work with him. You never know, do you?
Yeah, so I'm just reading. Sorry, I was just reading some of the comments there about Doku, and I'm quite optimistic, because it seems like people who are speaking to him and posting stuff about him in the comments actually know the stuff, which I'd rather take your word for it.
Well, he played today. Andy, in the 3-1 win. Yeah, that's why everyone knew about him. Looked like he was saying goodbye at the end. And like I said, but it's Pep Guardiola. We don't know. I don't know what Pep's going to do anymore. Pep can just throw every, he might have just done that 3-2-2-3 just to win the Champions League, and then thought, balls to it, I want to go back to speedy wingers. Mm-hmm. We don't know. We don't know what this whole game plan is going to be. It's a weird one, because Peroni's probably likely to go out on loan. Palmer's probably going to go as part of the Paqueta deal, or maybe separate. McAtee, we don't know. He's got Alvarez in at number 10. Well, if he's got Alvarez as number 10, why is he buying a number 10 for 90 million quid?
This Peroni, he could well be an Argentinian Phillips, isn't it, where we're all scratching our heads wondering why he bought him.
Let's not forget as well, there will be a certain element that we will buy players knowing that we're going to sell on for a bigger fee within, say, 6 months or something like that. We've not been adverse to doing that before, so...
No, again, I honestly think that's what Peroni is. I think he's a sell-on merchant.
And, there's nothing up with that, because not everybody's going to make it, unfortunately. It all comes down to what people actually want. Did he want the younger players coming in, or did he want more experienced players? Because would you want a 21-year-old player coming in from our academy who's not on the same level as, say, a Doku? Or would you want to bring a 21-year-old Doku in who's not from the academy for a bigger fee and play them? Again, it's tomatoes, isn't it? From
the way I look at it, Andy, right? The academy, right? And I'm blue in the face from saying this. The academy was a cash conveyor belt, and it always has been. And it was identified that from the start. We copied the we copied that from Barcelona. But for somebody coming out of that academy now, right? Foden has to be the benchmark. So is McAtee as good as Foden at that stage of his development? No. Is Palmer as good as Foden at that stage of development? No. Is Peroni? No. So them three are not getting into that team. It's as simple as that. When you take the emotions out of it and you use Foden as a benchmark, them three don't cut it. They might cut it elsewhere.
No, and you're absolutely right when you say that, Paddy. You know, Foden will always be the benchmark for any player, because even though Rico Lewis is probably the most consistently picked now, if you want to say picked, since Foden, it's still like night and day between Rico and Foden in it, because Foden's, although he's still only young, he's 23, he's got that, you know, he has got that experience. I've no doubt that Rico will make it with us, you know, but Pep will do, I should imagine, what he did with Foden, dipping him in, dipping him out. I wouldn't expect Rico to start the game against Newcastle, for instance. I think that's where your older stroke,
your senior pros,
more experienced guard will come into that, because I believe we've got to start the Premier League off, as we have done, in spectacular fashion, because it's going to be a lot more competitive this season, in my opinion. And I don't think Pep will tinker as much early doors as he has done in previous seasons.
Okay, if he doesn't do that, right, the back four is going to pick itself. So you're not bringing in Vardiol, he's sitting on the bench, so Aki's getting dropped. So you're going to have Walker, Diaz, Stones, and Vardiol. So there's not going to be any Laporte, there's not going to be any Aki at that, or any Lewis on that back four. The keeper will be the same. It'll be Ederson. The midfield will pick itself. He seems to have gone with Alvarez playing alongside Haaland now for some reason. And then you have Grealish or Foden or Silva on the other wing. What's the rest of them doing? Phillips is not going to get a kick of the ball. Mateo's not going to get a kick of the ball. They might do it for 3-4-5-0 up, might get it in cup games, but if he's going to be ruthless and go from the Premiership from the start, which he normally doesn't do, where's all these players going to play?
God, I thought that was Martin with an Irish accent then.
No, but that's the point. And you're not buying Doku and Paqueta to come and sit on a bench.
No, I agree.
Who's getting dropped?
This is the Paqueta one. I understand, especially with the KDB injury and KDB's his age. I think KDB shouldn't be playing 60 games anymore. I think KDB should be playing 35 games. That will sound mad to a lot of people, but you use KDB to the best of his ability, and that's 30, 35, 40 games. You shouldn't be playing 60 games.
Yeah.
Now,
I agree with you,
this Alvarez is 10. I don't think this Alvarez as the number 10 will continue for much longer, because I think Paqueta will take that role in the end.
Yeah, I do think I thought we would bring just one more player in, but it's looking increasingly like we're going to be bringing 2, possibly 3 in before the end of the transfer window. So that tells me as well, unfortunately, there is going to be outgoings, Stan, where as much as I've got faith in him and stuff like that, and I want him to do well, I think Phillips could be one of them, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think everybody's up for grabs, by maybe 4 or 5 players. If the right offer comes in and somebody's head's turned, they've said, haven't they? They won't stop anyone from going.
Sorry, by the way, you've got to get Bernardo in the team as well now.
Yeah.
So, what about Bernardo?
I know, it's just... Is it a good... Is this a good problem? And like I've always said, Martin,
it's rich man's problems.
That's what I've always said, and you laughed at first until you realised I was right, as always. Are we a victim of that? No, because we could be unsettling some very, very not only good players, but top players if they don't see their way in the,
Jack Grealish.
Jack will be all right, mate.
No, but what I'm saying is we've not got Jack in. We're talking Paqueta out for Alvarez. We're talking you got to get Bernardo. Rodri's going to be your number 1. So if you've got Haaland, say you got Haaland as your 9, Rodri's your CDM. Like Paddy says, your back line's generally going to pick itself because I think Laporte will leave. Now, there's apparently Aston Villa are now back round after him. Whether he wants to go there is up to him because of Tyrone Mings' long-term injury. So, your back line's itself, Rodri's there, Haaland's there. So you've got 5 players you've got to try and fit into there. Out of Foden, Bernardo, Doku, KDB, Paqueta, Alvarez. I'm missing other people. Kovacic. I mean, we're going to have one hell of a bench. But then Pep's back to the same problem he had 2 years ago when he said, I've got too big a squad, which is the reason Jesus, Sterling, Zinchenko are left.
Just a point there, what Chaz is saying. I think it might be sort of like directed at me, Chaz. Why do you not just admit that Phillips is not good enough? Quit the excuses. He came back overweight, set the tone. I don't know. I said earlier, Chaz, I just don't know. I just like the lad. I want him to do well. It's not an excuse. Can
I just come in on that? Calvin Phillips was not overweight. Calvin Phillips was bloated from eating 2 meals. He was not overweight. It's just when they did the test, he was bloated, which happens to as well. So he wasn't overweight. And if you watch his documentary, he clearly stays that. But I'll turn this in its head. What about if Phillips turns around and says the Pep and takes the decision out of Pep's hands? Do you know what, Pep? I'm an English international. You're not going to play me. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Sell me. Because
I think it could come to that. I think it could come to
Premiership teams.
Yeah. I think mine, and I always say to people, sentiment shouldn't come into it and stuff like that, but maybe I am just being a little bit, sentimental because I want the lad to do well and stuff like that. Super City treble winner. I don't care who gets upset. Competition is essential, especially after the treble last season. It's a motivational tactic from Pep and City. I go with that, mate. You go with that, Stan? Stan's. You all right there? Are you in that pool again, mate?
Very much so. Yeah, I would go with that. It's he's not that bothered about whose egos he bruises. He's not that bothered about who gets upset. Eyes on the prize, innit? And you just go for it, and whatever needs to be done, he'll do it. Ruthless. He might well.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Then I don't want to hear Pep moan about having to upset players again.
I've heard him about that.
To be fair, what he says in public and what he says behind the doors, they're not always going to be the same anyway, are they? He might moan sometimes just to deflect on a question or,
No, I understand that, Stan. I'm looking at the Jesus Zinchenko Sterling scenario.
But you're going to get that anyway if you're a top club. It is, and I say fortunately, we're not a club what the starting 11 picks itself. And that's good. That's good for us. If we were, say, again, no disrespect to say a Brentford or something like that, there's probably their starting 11 picks itself week in, week out. We're in a great position where it doesn't pick itself. And Stan God, I've not even had a drink, honestly. What Stan said before about his toolbox, he'll get a tool out to do a certain job we're fortunate, Stan, that we're in that position.
Very much so, and it just it reinforces what a good job Cheeky does and the rest of them. It's just you look around and you look at the players we're getting, and we've said this 1,000 times before, and it's worth repeating because who are we going to get to replace Yaya? Who are we going to get to replace Silva? Who are we going to get to replace Kun? We don't get anybody to replace them. What you do is you get somebody in to fit a system and then take it from there, whether it's a goalkeeper who played for a team that was relegated in Germany last year, or a centre-back whose own fans said, don't know why you bought him, he's got a wreck in him every game. And they both played crucial parts in us winning the treble. I'll say you did the FA Cup, but at the end of the day, without that FA Cup, we wouldn't done the treble. So he's played his part.
And you was talking about Akanji, weren't you, with the other one, of course?
Yeah. No, it's a fair enough point. I do forget things.
Actually, I actually left Akanji on them list of defenders. Where's he going to go? If you play Walker, Diaz, Stones, and the
Gaviscon.
Like, where's he? Where's Akanji going? Aki and Laporte. I forgot about fucking Akanji.
That's exactly what I'm on about with what Super City treble when I say there. Jesus, Sterling, Zinchenko had their chances. They weren't good enough. I still think Sterling was, but that's by the by. But the next bit, what he says, it's up to the players coming in to prove their worth. Absolutely, I absolutely buy into that. What he's just said, it is. I know Martin will counter it with like he did before. With he didn't do it. He didn't do that with Mahrez in the semi-final after scoring a hat trick. La-di-da-di-da. But in normal circumstances, that is applicable.
Yeah, I'd go along with that.
I wouldn't.
I would say it was applicable for the first half of last season. I think second half, Pep had his set 11 in all the big games.
You think?
Because even if you go back to that Real Madrid game,
set 11.
Yeah.
At the back end of last season, yeah. The back end of last season, because people will say about Walker, what everyone forgets about that when Walker played against Real Madrid was Ake got injured. So we will never know whether Walker was going to play or not. Because if Ake had been fit, would he have dropped Ake and played Walker right, Akanji left? We don't know. That's the thing, we don't know. At the time, Ake got the injury, so Walker just came in. And it sounds like I'm having a pop up, but I'm not. I think Walker's a very good player. I think what we're trying to do this summer is we're trying to keep some of our old guard, keep our EDS, and sign players. And we've suddenly gone from a small squad to a biggish squad. And that's fine. But it's like Muddy Ducks put there, you've got 10 homegrown. So you're going to release 2, which will probably be one of 3. Well, it'll be 2 of 3. Palmer, McAtee, or Oscar Bob.
Well, Oscar Bob was not in the first team.
No, and I think he's too young anyway.
An EDS player.
So hang on, Ethan, do that a minute, Ethan. Do that, please, a minute. For me, if we don't necessarily have to offload any, but if I was to offload 2 there, it'd be Carson and Bob.
I'd get rid of Greenies and Foden.
You spend too much time on Twitter, mate.
Paddy's been on Twitter all day, Anna. You can just tell.
But I would, because with a goalkeeper, you'll tend to get away with it because your goalkeeper's going to be starting pretty much every single game in the league and Champions League. You've got Ortega who'll do FA Cup and the League Cup. Don't underestimate how important Carson is, by the way, by morale and stuff like that. You know, I'm sure he's on a decent amount of money, but you need somebody like that. You know, somebody like, even like whether it's a kit man, you've seen how instrumental the kit man is and stuff like that. Do
you know who Carson reminds me of? Do you know that's for the Troy that does the introductions?
Yeah.
That's what Carson is in that team.
I would honestly take Carson out of that group because I don't think he's ever getting rid of Carson. I think Carson will eventually go on to be goalkeeping coach. Yeah. So you've probably got 9. You've probably got 9, which then gives you, like I said, Sadler. I think Palmer will go, and as Sadler, and I think I said this to you, Andy, ages ago. I don't think McAtee's going to make it. I think he's going to be gone.
No, I don't get this fascination with McAtee. He's not that good.
McAtee's not going to come back from Sheffield United to come on and play 1 minute for Manchester City. That won't be in his game plan.
But we haven't some already judged that on 90 minutes of the first Premier League match. We don't know what's going to develop. Now, I'm sure if he stayed, he would get enough minutes. Only if he is good enough to. Because, like I keep saying, if a player's good enough, he will get the minutes.
So who's he getting ahead of then, Under?
Exactly.
It's not about getting ahead. Substitute appearances, and it's not ideal for a player if.
No. All right. I'll put it this way. I'm sorry to interrupt. You have Foden. Say you play I can't say the bloody guy's name. I got shouted at the other day for saying it wrong. Paqueta and KDB. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You've got Kovacic. You've got Bernardo Silva. You've got
others. Well, where'd you put them all?
Don't know. He can't hear you now, which is a blessing.
Karma
soon comes round and bites people on the arse, mate. Love it. No, but from a fan's perspective, we're sort of like nitpicking about what we're doing with top players. Whether it's top players coming in, whether it's top players who we deem are not good enough, or whether it's top players who won't be happy, to be sitting on the bench. For me, that tells us what a magnificent squad we've got, and and no time soon are we going to have dips.
I don't think Laporte has any intention of leaving.
Who, Laporte?
Yeah, I don't think that man has. He's never. From what I've seen of him and what I know of him, he's never given me that vibe that he wants out. No, obviously the club can make that decision, take that decision for him. It was same as any player, but I don't think he can be forced out the door.
To be fair, Paddy, he has.
Oh, we can.
He put a thing on it. He put a thing on Instagram saying "time for a new journey."
Yeah, but what Paddy's saying, and I totally get what Paddy's saying. It doesn't matter what. Listen, first and foremost, somebody's got to come in for him. We're not, as far as we know, nobody's coming for him now. Whether that's for something what you've said, Martin, which you get. We're looking at the Laporte of the past 18 months, not the Laporte of what previous how he was. Laporte is fully within his rights to sit on that bench if he wants, or not even get in the squad. He's still he can still see his contract out. So ultimately, Laporte will have a choice. Do I want to go out and take possibly a pay cut and play football, which he is as a footballer, or do I want to just earn money by sitting on the bench? Listen, there's only him who could tell us that.
Well, he loses international place if he's not playing regular football. But if you go by what Pep is saying, right? Pep picks players because of how they train. The training is supposed to be fairly intense, right? So if that starting 11 is in training every day and they're playing their levels are not dropping because they're all scientifically recorded what kilometers they're doing, what the body fat is and stuff like that. If them starting 11's levels haven't dropped and you're trying to get into that team, how do you break into that team? No matter what you do, you're not getting in.
And that's it, mate. And exactly what Stuart's saying there. And we can speculate, which is brilliant having shows. Don't get me wrong, shows like this. This is why we do it, because we love debating football and stuff like that. But ultimately, there's only player and manager who knows what's going on, unless a player or a manager leaks something to the press, which I can't see that happening as much these days. I'm not saying it. I'm not naive enough to think it doesn't happen. Do you get that, Stan?
Yeah. No, since I was just having a think there about. I was just having a quick look about the amount of minutes that were played last year by all the players, and there's about 8 of them that are the regulars, and then there'll be three slots in the team that are up for grabs. Mm-hmm. And they're split across another 8 players. Another 8 players who fill in to do those little tactical tweaks that he needs to do. It's quite interesting on that because, again, obviously those main 8, they were the ones that were playing in the Champions League. So he's always going to rotate people in. And he will, like I say, he will have his own little toolbox for what's going on. And as Nick Saunders is saying there, Laporte, he won't have any hesitation in throwing any of these players in because he knows they're good enough.
Yeah.
But clearly, Laporte isn't going to sell himself short, for example, and nobody should sell themselves short. It's like you were saying earlier, Paddy, if you can go down the road for 15 grand extra, you're going to do it. You can't stop players doing that. Some of those players, I think, particularly Jesus and Zinchenko that we were looking at before, they thought that they could contribute more. They can, but not at a team that's at our level.
I think that's a very good point, Stan, that you're making. The 8 or 9 players, the spine of the team, and then rotating 2 or 3 in every week or whatever who we're playing or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But that begs the question then, like, as you say, you're pulling from a pool of 7 or 8, 9 players then. What happens if one of them players are not getting picked? They're not going to be happy, are they?
Well, it's not a huge problem because I'll tell you them 8. It was Jack Grealish, Bernardo, Akanji, Gundogan, De Bruyne, Haaland, Rodri and Edison. So obviously there's a lot of minutes that have gone up for grabs there because Gundo's gone. You're then looking at them to replace them. This is last year's guys, not, you've got, obviously you've got Kovacic and Gvardiol to come in for that. But then you've got Diaz, Walker, Mahrez, Aki, Stones, Foden and Alvarez and Cancelo, because Cancelo did play a lot early on. He did still quite do a lot there. So these 3 or 4 of them have moved on and there's over 1,000 minutes per player there. So these guys that are coming in, it is there for them. And it goes back to what the lad said before. It's up to the new guy to come in and prove himself. It's not up to anybody else to do it for them. And that's what we want. We want that competition and we want people to break into that 8. And if you can't,
but you don't need 9
defenders.
Don't play Alex, a point.
That's what I'm saying.
A point what Alex making there as well. Even Rodri, mate, people was doubting Rodri for the record as well. Sorry, Martin. Go on, mate.
No, and I agree with what Stan's saying.
Everybody.
But the reason why I think Laporte will go is you wouldn't have bought Vardiol otherwise. You wouldn't have bought Vardiol if you were going to keep Laporte.
But maybe that's just Pep forcing Laporte's hand to go. But could listen.
Yes, I mean, you don't need 9. You look now. You look at the starting lineup on Friday. Laporte was a substitute without Stones and Diaz being there.
Yeah. So listen. I wouldn't agree with it, by the way, but we're on about people getting into the squad. There's nothing to say Pep, by the time he submits his official squad for the Premier League, that Laporte's not even registered, regardless whether he's gone or not. That'd be brutal and unfair, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing to say he wouldn't do that.
Yeah, can only register 25.
Well, that's one of Pep's strengths. He's not like that. If that was the case, Laporte would be in that office before.
There was only 5 defenders last year that over 1,000 minutes.
Look what the cat dragged him. By the way, you spelled Saudi Arabia wrong there. You spelled with a P.
How's Morris settling in?
I hope you're having a nice time, Anne-Marie. A well-earned break. Give Riyadh all up.
Can I just, by the way, someone said about, I can't remember it was, someone's put in the commentary about McAtee maybe having a few minutes in games and then playing League Cup games. McAtee did that 2 years ago. He's already been there and done that part of his development. Then he's gone to Sheffield United for a year and played proper football. Is he going to be... listen, this is just speculation. Will he be happy to come back and go back to where he was 2 years ago?
If you had anything about him, you'd hope he wouldn't.
That's my question. Can you remember? Was it I think it was the Everton game. Came on, didn't he, or played, and he was fabulous. He was absolutely. I thought he was great, and then he didn't get much game time after that. Got sent out on loan, and listen, I want to keep McAtee, but the problem is we can't buy £90 million players, £60 million players. Keep everyone else we want, and still have EDS at the same time.
Well, hang on.
Like you said, Andy, you can only have 25-man squad.
Hang on a minute, mate. Carry on a second. Anne-Marie's just said big kisses to Paddy, Andy and Stan. Hang on. What about Martin? Martin's filling in for you tonight.
I'm glad you changed the wording on that.
I'm sure she meant you as well, mate.
No, I understand, Anne-Marie. It's fine.
But like, on a serious note, right? There's 4 of us here talking tonight, and we can't make our minds up. What type of headache is fucking Pep?
I'll tell you what, he's going to earn his money this year.
It's something about blokes with bald heads. What a genius is, I think.
I can think of other descriptions, but it's not before 9 after 9 o'clock, so I can't tell.
Look at
Excuse
that.
me, there's only one of you with bald hair. There's only you.
I've got Manchester City running through my head. You know that. Look.
I tell you what, though, like you say there, though, Martin, about Guardiola, he's in an absolutely unique position that it would take 3 years if we won it. I know this sounds obvious, but to get to the position where you're going for the fourth league win on the bounce, it's going to take you 3 years just to get there. Now he's at that, and he's in a chance to become immortal. He's not going to give up there. He's going to be as big a bad-tempered bastard as he's always been, because he knows chances like this, they just don't come around very often. Well, once, twice, 3 times in the history of football.
The lady I love.
Stan, I hope he is. I hope he's more determined than he's ever been before to come out firing. I really do. And I think it's, if he wants a big squad, fine. And I hope they all fight leather and tongue to get into the team. And big up too. Do you know what we've all got to stop doing as fans? Yes, we can all say we want players. Yes, we can all predict our teams. But we've got to stop having meltdowns over certain players not playing. Because it makes me laugh. Because 1 minute they all want Foden. This week I've seen Foden into midfield, right wing, left wing. Then Doku becomes available. Now we want Doku to the right wing, but we've forgotten about Foden. Then all of a sudden Grealish got carted out. And it's like, the fans just relax and whatever happens, happens. Us bitching is not going to change anything.
No, I agree with you 100%. But at the end of the day, that is football. People will talk. They'll debate. They'll put their opinions in.
No, I agree with talking.
Yeah,
but it's it's the hung quartering and killing players before they've even done anything.
Yeah, those meltdowns have been here since I've been watching City. They used to melt down in the 60s about certain players.
You never melted down over Jim and Jeff Whitler.
It's never going to go away, Martin.
I don't remember the meltdown over Willow Flood.
Yeah, DC.
I did. He was all right, Willow.
Stan, shut up.
The one I didn't like was when they got rid of Crofty.
Right, Stan, you can read DC's comment out. Well, I think it's the top comment, to be fair. Go on, Stan. Can you read?
People who think Pepe's complacent this year clearly don't know Pep. The man thrives on competition, pressure, and winning. 100% correct, DC.
Absolutely. So I think, all this talk of will the hunger still be there? Of course it will be, because
intense.
Listen, and somebody said earlier, we're quite rightly as well, we're in a position where we could actually make history again by winning four leagues on the bounce. Never been done before. So there's it's not a case of, we've won everything now, let's relax. Hang on, the next challenge
he's the other way. He'll want to be the first guy ever that's done a double treble. I'll tell you that now.
Does he play that?
BA, let's not start doing trebles again.
I've not said that we're going to do it. I've not said anything. I said it won't be surprised me that guy is that motivated. That is what his motivation will be. To be unique, to be the first man to have done 2 trebles on the bounce. That's his motivation. It's not the money. It's not anything else. That's what feeds him. That's what gets him going. That's what he is. Serial winner. He'll stop at nothing. Maybe this is why we're getting all these players coming in. Maybe this is what
it's not 9 o'clock yet. It's not 9 o'clock yet, Stan. I don't want to hear what gets Pep going.
No, but it's maybe this is why he's bringing in extra players, because he wants to make sure that we're at a position now where we can kick on.
Do you know what I think part of it is? I think as fans,
I tell you what, we've watched every team so far. I've not seen one team better than us.
Do you think we've got so used to a small squad? Do you think we've got so used to him wanting a small squad? This year he's gone, screw it, I'll have a big squad again. And we're just not used to it.
The honest answer is, mate, I don't know, because we're trying to second guess a genius, aren't we?
Yeah.
But has he ever had a
You don't have to second guess me.
That's right. That's why we can read you like a book, even in Braille.
Anne-Marie still not said hello to me.
I think she's drunk in Parma, mate. She's out there with Riyadh and his family. So listen,
in Saudi Arabia.
Listen, guys. Before we go, where is it? We are now sponsored officially by this lad here. So yeah, this weekend as well. But if you on the ticker at the bottom, if you go over to the website, as it says there, use the code Sunday6, you will get £2 off anything what's on the website. That will be gone. That discount will be gone some point tomorrow after the 24 hours runs out. You can still use the code.
How much are the? Go on, mate. Sorry.
How much is the what?
The Pep will be United mugs.
They can be.
There's a mug there that says Pep will be United.
He can't be United.
Next, no. Why?
Spanish, I thought foreigners can't be United.
No, they can't.
Fergie did.
No, it's part of the UK. Not part of the UK. Clever dick.
So listen. On that point, guys, we'll park it here. Then next up is the old Super Cup on Wednesday. What is anybody really bothered about that, or is it something else?
I had a question for everyone on this.
Go on, man.
Super Cup or 3 points against Newcastle? What's more important?
3 points against Newcastle for me. What do you reckon,
I want to win the Super Cup, though.
Why can't we have both?
Exactly.
No, I'm only saying because I think Newcastle will be mega hard.
He's going to want 8 trophies in 2 seasons. The 3 that we won last year, win again this year, and then you can throw in the World Club Cup and the Tim Papa John's Charity Euro Shield thing.
No, I'm only saying because Pep was having a whinge, wasn't he, about the kickoff times and then having to travel back and then play on Saturday.
Yeah. Papa John's, I'll have a piece of that. A piece of that.
God.
It's right.
Right, guys. Anybody else get anything before we go? Listen, thanks for everybody in the chat. As same as Martin's show. Jump over to Martin's show whenever he does one. Most of these are from there anyway. But it's good to see a load of new names on here as well tonight. Thank you very, very much. Always interactive. We love the interaction and stuff like that. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Paddy, for joining us as always. Cheers, Stan, for sorting your technology out once and for all.
Cheers for Sally as well. We need people here, don't we?
We do indeed. Listen, guys, thanks for joining us. If we don't, hey, see, me and Martin have got something in common. We're both bald.
I'm not bald. This is hair.
I've got a picture what shows something contrary, mate. Remember?
You're not deleted that one.
No, that's in my back pocket. Listen, thanks very much, guys. Here's to a Super Cup win and 3 points at a ridiculous time next Saturday. Thanks for joining us. Have a great week. Bye-bye now.
Thanks, lads.